Today we're going to be talking about the Softstar Runamoc shoes. I'm going to explain my likes and dislikes and what variations of these shoes I suggest you get depending on what you're going to do with them. So let's jump right into it. Softstar is a company that's based in the United States. They use US labor to make minimalist barefoot style shoes with zero drop and extremely flexible soles so that you can do whatever you want in these shoes and feel like your toes are able to do what they would naturally do. So if you are not familiar with the idea of barefoot shoes, they basically give you full freedom for your feet to work. All the muscles in the bottom of your feet will atrophy if you put them into those clunky blocks of shoes that they sell at major retailers. Barefoot minimalist style shoes are the exact opposite. Instead of having thick, blocky soles and a big heel, you have thin soles and zero drop, meaning the height difference between the heel and the front of your foot is zero, like zero drop.
What if your foot doesn't have muscles?
If your foot doesn't have muscles, you probably don't need shoes because you're not going anywhere without any muscles.
Wow, that's pretty ableist of you.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I'm just telling you without muscles you can't get anywhere.
I still find it offensive.
Okay, I'll buy you a pair of shoes. Will that make you feel better?
Yeah, that would.
Okay, we'll go online later and buy you some shoes. The shoes you see in front of me are different versions of the Runamoc. These are the ones I've had the longest, and I always get them in the wide size. You can see from these shoes, which I've had for 3 or maybe 4 years at this point, that the shoes are nice and wide in the toe box, meaning this area where your foot, the front of your foot, has to be able to breathe. In a lot of normal running shoes and normal casual shoes, the toe box is super narrow, but on the Runamoc, they are really wide, especially if you get the wide size. I have very wide feet, and if I don't have that room, it really feels like crap for my toes.
Isn't foot binding a thing in your culture?
That's pretty out of left field there, bud.
I mean, you're Chinese, right?
Yeah, but I was sort of born and raised in California, so foot binding is not really my jam.
Oh, I see.
Okay, back to the shoes. I customized this pair of Runamocs with the perforated white leather so that I could get that sort of meshy feel that you would get from other athletic shoes that normally have that kind of plasticky mesh that allows breathability. If you don't get the perforated leather, then you end up with a solid piece of leather all around the shoe, which is nice if you are in a cold place like, say, the Pacific Northwest. But if you live in a place that's super warm and humid, then I don't know how much you're gonna like having a solid piece of leather all around your foot, especially if you're gonna go running around somewhere and you wanna use these as actual athletic shoes. I will say that the leather is very soft and very comfortable, so I do like the feel on my feet. Right now it is turning into winter around Central California, and so if I put these on, it actually feels fine for my feet, but I wouldn't really wear these outside in the summertime.
Would you even wear those outside?
Honestly, I haven't really worn these outside. I use these mostly when I'm filming and doing things for this channel because, hey, these are my colors. Also, full disclosure, Softstar did send me these and these for free so that I could try them out and review them. These I did actually pay for years ago. So let's take a second to talk about these black Runamocs. These are actually the quick dry version, and I've been told they will soon be discontinued. So if you're interested in these, I would definitely recommend that you just go on the website and try to find them before they're gone. The thing with the quick dries is that they have a mesh upper, so it's not all leather. It's very, very breathable, and these are extremely lightweight. So I like slipping these on if I'm just gonna go run around somewhere. I've used these with my son when we're gonna be walking around somewhere wet because these are quick dry shoes. And what I like about these is they're really easy to get on and off. They feel super light. They're super, super flexible, just like these super, super flexible shoes. But because it's a mesh upper, it just feels like I'm barely wearing a shoe. But there are also downsides to this shoe, which I'm going to explain in a second. What I really like about the Runamocs in all these different versions is that they are extremely comfortable, extremely flexible, with absolutely zero support and zero limitations on what you can do with the shoe. This shoe that I have here has the 2mm street sole, which is basically like walking with a couple pieces of paper under your foot. I don't recommend this if you've never worn barefoot shoes before, and if you're just starting with getting into minimalist shoes, 2mm is too thin for you to start with. These other shoes have the 5mm Omniflex Sole, which I find to be a really nice thickness. It's enough protection to walk around all day with. It gives you that little bit of padding, but it's still super duper flexible and you get pretty good tread. These shoes are reasonable and usable in the gym. You can walk around town in them, but I will say they don't really have the modern aesthetic that you might be looking for. Depending on the colors and materials you choose on your shoes, you might look a little bit like Blippi, hey! Or you might end up looking like a dancing forest gnome, or you might look fairly normal in the gym. When I go to the gym, I'll often just slip these on with no socks because they're super comfortable and easy and they don't really stink.
You're right, they didn't stink.
Now let's take a second to talk about dislikes. I already covered the biggest drawback I see with these shoes, which is the aesthetics. They just aren't that modern looking and they can kind of stick out depending on how you configure them. The other potential downside on these shoes may be the durability of the sole. So if you look at the treads on the Omniflex, you can see here that these shoes have really worn pretty flat. There's no more tread in some key areas on this shoe. I haven't used this pair of shoes really intensely, but the tread did wear down fairly quickly. I don't really notice the tread being worn down at this point, but I'm not a serious runner. I don't run really on wet surfaces, and I don't often find myself in situations while wearing these shoes where I need a lot of tread, because I don't use them for hiking because a lot of stuff will get in if I'm in the dirt because this mesh doesn't really keep out everything I want it to keep out. In the same vein, the perforated leather on these shoes is really great for breathability, but I don't want to walk anywhere where there are little pebbles that can get into my shoe because this shoe will vacuum up pebbles from all directions and I'll always get one pebble in there every couple minutes somehow, and I constantly find myself taking these off and emptying and emptying and emptying.
What about if I want to run?
If you're a serious runner and you're looking at these shoes, I would strongly suggest getting them with the 5mm Omniflex sole, and you figure out what material is going to work well for what you're doing. Again, if you're living in a really hot place, I don't know how good a full leather upper is going to feel. If you have these shoes and you have experience with these in a really hot environment, please drop a comment down below so other people will know what your experience has been like, and that can help them make a better buying decision.
What if I want maximum durability?
If you want maximum durability, then I would definitely say get an all leather version of this shoe. The quick dry version, which they are discontinuing, can be really easy to snag on sharp objects that are lying on the trail or around the park when you're chasing after your toddler. In addition, if you don't always take care of your toenails properly like me, then you may start wearing a hole from the inside out, and that's not going to be cool. When you go on the Softstar website, you may notice that the quick dry Runamocs have a leather reinforcement here on the front of the shoe, while mine don't. That's because these were sent to me for free as testers many years ago, and so they fixed the problem of the front wearing out from abrasions, but I'm not personally sure whether that leather reinforcement goes high enough up to stop your toenails from rubbing from the inside and then cutting their ways through.
That was kind of gross, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure your toes would cut through those shoes too. So the Runamocs at the time of filming cost $160, but while I'm filming today, they are on sale for $130. So I would just suggest you go to the website and check for current sale prices to see where they're at now. And if you had a small heart attack when you heard $160, then I don't blame you. The shoes are expensive, but minimalist shoes in general tend to be expensive. Softstars are an American company and they do manufacture in the United States with American labor, so their shoes do tend to be more expensive than what you would get from a Chinese factory.
Here's that Chinese thing again.
What's with you in the Chinese thing, man? If you're looking for a shoe that has a very natural, earthy feel and is extremely flexible, I think these are a reasonably good choice as long as they fit your aesthetic. If you already own the Runamocs, then I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. Please drop me a comment down below. And after seeing this review, you want to get a pair of these shoes for yourself too, I invite you to use my affiliate link, which you'll find down in the description box. I've got more product reviews and videos to help you move right and feel right here. To support this channel, use the PayPal or Patreon links you'll find in the description box, or use the join and thanks buttons on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe with the bell notification on, and as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.